In today's video, we're going to talk about interest rates and what 2024 looks like as we start it and how the interest rates have already come down, increasing your buying power by up to $80,000 for the exact same payment. If you're interested in content like this, please consider subscribing below. Give us a thumbs up so it helps the algorithm, and most importantly, comment on this. Tell us what interest rates you're seeing. Let us know what you're concerned about. If you're sitting on the fence waiting for rates to get better, tell us what those rates need to be before you want to re-enter the real estate game and be able to purchase your next property. Let's get into this topic. Welcome back. So everybody has this conversation of we're sitting on the fence and we're going to wait for interest rates to get better so that we can get back to it. And this makes perfect sense because the higher the rates go, the less you're able to afford. In other words, if you were able to afford a $400,000 house at 2% interest difference, you now all of a sudden can only afford a $300,000 house. You may not want to buy what's out there for $300,000 for the same payment. It's going to be the same budget. They're waiting for their ability to purchase $400,000 to return. So the first thing we have to talk about is the Fed. The Fed sets interest rates at which the bank borrows money. So in other words, banks don't have all the money that they lend out. So they go to the Federal Reserve, they borrow that. The Federal Reserve charges the bank an interest rate. They then charge you a higher interest rate, and the spread between it is how they make money. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a lot more complicated than that, but it gives you a 10,000-foot view. That being said, interest rates end up being set by the bond market. So when they sell mortgage-backed securities, if investors don't want to invest and buy mortgage-backed securities, rates go up. If they have consumer confidence or investor confidence that the market's going to give them a long-term good yield on this, they'll come back in and start buying those and interest rates come down. Now they fluctuate up and down still to be higher than whatever the Fed is lending money to the banks at. So I'm going to give some very general examples. If the Federal Reserve, who for the longest time was lending money to the banks at 0% interest, the banks were able to charge 3, 2, some cases 4% interest, and that was the difference that was being made. Well, now that the Fed is charging, let's just say 5% interest to the banks, they need to charge 6, 6.5, 7, they climbed even as high as 8. That fluctuation between 8 and 6 all depended on whether or not investors would buy mortgage-backed securities, creating more money in the market. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's talk about how 2023 ended. During 2023, we had many rate hikes by the Fed. The investor confidence was way down. Rates hit into the 8s. I actually closed a deal that was at 8.125% in 2023. In the last meeting where the Federal Reserve met together in December, they not only decided not to increase rates anymore, they announced that they would likely be doing 3 price cuts on rates in 2024. This news really bolstered confidence in the investor market. Although the Federal Reserve hasn't yet lowered any rates, what we saw is rates trickle down. So let's talk about where they sit today. At the time of this video, I'm constantly seeing 6.75 and 6.5 on conventional rates being put out there across the board. Some banks are doing special loan products or doing 15 years that are into the 5s. If you're getting FHA, even some of the 30 years might hit right at 6% or 5.875, some of those rates in there. And we even have some lenders out there doing unique adjustable rate mortgages that are locked for 15 years where the rates might be 5.125. So let's just take a basic look at this and say, how does all those numbers affect you? And here it is, simply in a nutshell. At 7.86% interest, if that's the rate, and your payment is, let's just say, $1,800 a month, and you wanted to keep it at $1,800 a month. By finding a bank that will lend you at 5.125%, you can buy a house that's $80,000 more dollars, or borrow $80,000 more dollars, and the payment remains identical. The difference between 7.865 and 5.125 is approximately $80,000 in buying power, and the payment remains the same. That's a significant difference for any individual that's in the marketplace. Even if you want to buy at that lower price point, then instead of spending $80,000 more, your payment's going to be significantly lower, in that particular example, into the 1300s, not including taxes and insurance. So if you've been on the fence waiting and you're waiting for interest rates to come down more, they still may fall in 2024. But here's my advice. Let's get right down to it. Now is a killer time to buy. Why? Rates are down. You have options between the high sixes and the low fives, depending on what loan product you choose. And this news and the consumer confidence has not created yet a frenzy of buying. Until the market starts to move faster, sellers are willing to negotiate. So if you want to get in and be able to purchase at $80,000 more for the same payment and still negotiate with the seller to come down, give you closing costs, cover some of your expenses, then right now in first quarter, this is kind of a unique window of opportunity where you're going to be able to negotiate a little bit on some deals, and you're also going to be able to buy more for less today. As we get further into 2024, my prediction is that prices will go up as demand increases because we still have a low inventory. And as interest rates fall, more people are going to get back into the game. If we get down into the fives and then some of those weird loan products get into the fours, all bets are off. You probably will add $20,000, $30,000 to the price of everything. So that's an opportunity to save some serious cash in your pocket, capture that value increase for yourself. If you're thinking about getting into the market and you want to talk about your specific situation and a specific loan product and how it affects you, give us a call and we'll do a free consultation. The number is below. You can contact us via email or phone number and we'll set that consultation up, go over your information so you can find out what's the best path for you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like. We appreciate you helping out the algorithm for this video. And please comment below. We'd love to hear from you, whether you agree with this, whether you disagree with this, and just some of your thoughts. And in fact, if you have a question or you want to see a video on a topic, let us know and we'll make that video. Thanks so much.